Hey, Regina. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Node Working Group session. We'll start up with a preamble, and we've got quite a few people here today, but there's not a lot on the agenda, so we'll see if we have anything to talk about, and otherwise maybe have a shorter meeting today. Here's the preamble. The Node Working Group sessions are a time when members come together to discuss and collaborate with ecosystem partners and the Mina Foundation. Topics generally include the latest releases, node operations, and other technical matters related to the protocol. All this is at the discretion of the Node Working Group. So today, please feel free to bring anything up. You can add it to the agenda or you can just discuss it. My name is John Robinson. I'm the Community Operation Manager at the Mina Foundation, and I'm here to support and facilitate these sessions, so please let me know if there's anything I can do to help out. If you have any questions during the session, please raise your hand with the button down the bottom of the screen. And these meetings will be recorded and posted to YouTube to increase transparency and make the things we talk about here accessible to everyone. All right, well, let's start off with some updates. I'd like to introduce Andrew from our ecosystem partner, O1 Labs. Andrew?
Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew from O1 Labs, as mentioned here. I've been working on putting together the 1.3.0 stable release, which I think a lot of you will be very excited about. But it's going to be identical to 1.3.0 beta 5, so you're all probably running what we will call stable. But yeah, I think that's the big announcement. We're going to be pushing out all of the docs and release notes and everything else that goes with that, and trying to push everybody in the community over to 1.3.0.
Great, thank you, Andrew. I see there's a question in there in the chat from Marina. She's asking when the release will come. But
it should be this afternoon, but yeah, definitely the next couple days.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Does anyone have any questions about that or any feedback on beta 5? All right, great, thanks. Let's see, Prithvi, did you have anything you'd like to discuss today, or Nathan?
No, I just wanted to really understand if there's any other pressing issues that people want to communicate to us. And we have Nathan and Andrew here, so they're equipped to answer anything if you guys want to ask.
There was a question in the chat from Carbonara, and he mentioned that in the last meeting agenda notes that there was a discussion about the Ledger app. That's something that affects Carbonara quite a bit. Does anyone have anything to add to this?
Yeah, the discussion was that it was about the bug in send Rosetta transaction, the GraphQL endpoint, and I was just clarifying that I think the thing that it needs to be upgraded is actually the Mina Ledger wallet Python script, and not like any of the actual integration with the ledger or the way that transactions get generated. So I don't think it should affect any of your work, Carbonara.
Great, thanks, Carbonara. Garrett said in the chat, it affects those sending via the CLI.
Yeah, so there's a GitHub issue. We kind of have triaged this, like Andrew mentioned. It's not assigned to anybody internally. Actually, we're thinking about maybe seeing if the community can help us with this, because the code for that is also open, but we need to discuss it with one person internally.
So,
thanks, Prithvi.
Yeah, if I can take the word, and okay, we are a little bit off topic, but still on the ledger issues. I don't know if there was any progress. Oh, sorry. Any progress or update in regards of the Mina Ledger app crashing randomly at times when signing transactions or derivating addresses. Because yeah, sometimes got these reports of when signing the transaction, the app crashes and needs to be restarted. But if restarted, then it just works. But it's like on the signing process, like on so what when it is on the actual hardware. Is there like an update or an acknowledgement of this?
We actually investigated and I share some data with you. I'm not sure what's causing it, but something times out or something cuts the connection between Ledger and the wallet, web wallet interface. And it doesn't happen on Aura for some reason. I don't know, maybe it doesn't keep continuous connection. I don't know what's the reason there, but it doesn't happen there. So maybe you should
But
talk with
yeah,
him.
regards yours, Emre, there are two kinds of issues. The first one, that is when the app on the ledger, it actually crashes during the signing, and the other problem, which is from my understanding is what you are reporting, is that the connection. So sometimes the ledger connection is active in the background, stays open, and there are issues in connecting with that. That is, I was explaining the other day to John that it's essentially like the connection is busy somehow and it stays open. So like, for example, you have Ledger Live running in background, that could be an issue. But so there are two problems there, just to not confuse them.
Okay, I see. About the crashing issue, did you ask about like full upgrading everything? Because there was issues with
Yes,
versions not matching with each other. We try like old version with the old ledger, and we try a lot of versions with each other to be sure all working perfectly. And at the time our tests, they were working fine.
yes, it works most of the times, but sometimes that happens. I mean, to me, it happened, I think, only once. And that's why I feel that it's very hard to replicate. And I can't produce like a proper report on this issue. That's because it's just during the signing, and if you restart the application, then it just signs the transaction as normal.
Yeah, it can be sometimes we are trailing something for 2 weeks and we still don't have no idea where is it.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
But yeah,
Thanks,
besides
guys.
that, the fact that the app is in the store, like in developer mode, that's helped a lot of users to install the application. So of course there is progress there, and that's wonderful. It makes it more accessible.
I'll ask the same question I asked in chat, but do you guys know of an existing GitHub issue that you are using to attach logs or anything to for both of these things that you mentioned?
Actually, that's a good question. No, yeah, I haven't reported yet. I just discussed it on the chat. I was not ready to report it like just on GitHub, so it was more on the chat and yeah, with John. But I can do that. The only thing is that I don't have logs or anything. Like that's also feel weird to report saying, "Hey, it's not working."
After the developer release, there was few reports of it, so we investigate. Have to do our tester, and he tests a lot of versions with it, and he get some conclusion out of. When I have that, and it was specific to Chlorio, I just share it with Carbonara, since he's the developer of that wallet.
Thanks a lot for that, Emery. Thanks, Carbonara. For anyone watching the recording after, if you'd like to join in and give some feedback or discuss this, probably the best place to do that is in the Discord Ledger channel. And if it's related to Chlorio, you can always ping Carbonar. He's very active and gets back to everyone right away. Is there any information that you could use from other users out there that would help with this issue?
No, for this issue in particular, no. Like as I said, I tried to replicate, and yeah, just restarting the app works. I mean, it's not. I mean, there is nothing that I can check from the host, so from the computer, because it's internal in the app, and if I'm not wrong, it's not even sending back the error, the error message, because it's actually crashing. So yeah, that's this is like the furthest I could go was up to this point, because yeah, as I said, like trying to replicate is not easy at all. It happens just randomly, you know. So in my opinion, it's not like a top priority. I think it's just something that we need to be aware, like, and somebody is like getting into it. That's super cool. But most of the users this and the fix for the retry like the transaction that works. So it's not really blocking.
Yeah. In any case, please create an issue and post it in the Node working group so that we can also prioritize it internally.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, also I suggest putting the workaround in that issue so that we can just catch all of the people who are running into this problem for however long it exists, especially because we're going to have trouble debugging it. But, you know, just having a placeholder for, hey, this is a known issue. Other people have experienced it before. Here's how you get out of it. Your funds are safe, you know, all that stuff.
Yes, we'll do.
I have just a question about it out of context, but there was a mention of batch transaction earlier, and is that going to be snap based, or is it going to be more transaction based, like it scan state? How it's going to be handled?
It's hard to answer that because it's sort of both, in the sense that the implementation that is going to make batch transactions work is also going to be used to do like many different things within the same snaps transaction. It's like the same tooling. But I think it's called parties in the code base all over the place now. It's like a parties transaction, and you can pick which you know, parties you want to send Mina back and forth to. Does that answer your question? You can do a batch transaction that only sends funds, but it will look more like a snaps transaction than any transactions that you can do now on mainnet.
I see.
Emery,
How
can you
about
please just confirm your question again? It was kind of hard to hear that, actually.
I mean, I was generally asking, is it at protocol level, or it's just like something available with Snaps implementations? Because Snaps are more like a smart contracts, but at protocol level, stuff is like works differently than smart contracts. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, great. Thank you. Gareth.
Just wanted to let Emery know that in the Snaps CLI tool that was released, there's actually a batch transactions method in that you can use. It's interactive at the moment, but I've used it to send up to 10 transactions. I don't really understand how it works, but it does work, and you can send 10 transactions. So maybe worth checking out the Snaps CLI tool.
Okay, I will check that out then. The limit is 10, or you just test up to the 10?
The limit in the tool was 10. I'm not sure whether that's a fundamental limit or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So to speak a little bit to the internal implementation, the way that this is set up is now you can basically send a list of, like, your transaction can now be made up of a list of parties, a list of people who are involved. And any of the people who are involved can receive some of the funds, right? Can be on the receiving end of a transaction. And also each of those individual, like, mid transactions can be signed by different keys. So they can be, you know, part of a snap or some complicated smart contract thing, or they can be a straightforward, you know, a balance transfer. And all of that is happening at the protocol level. The point is the protocol can now, you know, in the 2.0 world, in the Berkeley testnet world, the protocol can handle these lists of transactions as opposed to just one operation per transaction. And in terms of the limit of how many you can send, it's actually, I believe, a limit on the size of the transaction itself, like a byte-wise limit on the size of the transaction itself. Yeah, but if it's exactly 10 in the CLI, I would expect that was sort of artificially introduced in the CLI. I don't think that that's the point when we are maxing out transactions, but I'm not sure. We'll have to do some more digging.
Thanks, Andrew. We still have quite a bit of time left. If anyone has anything they'd like to discuss or to follow up on with what we've already talked about.
Nathan, would you be able to provide any update on the Snark work inclusion, even if it's, you know, just still under investigation?
Yeah, I don't have much direct update to provide on that. I spent a couple days last week looking into it, and I have some other things on my plate I'm trying to get done for the upcoming release following up to 1.3.0 that'll have more improvements. And so after I get those done this week, I plan to spend some more time looking at Snark work. But as of right now, I don't have any conclusive investigations.
Awesome, thank you. I know Jonathan was interested in getting updates, even if they were just that. So thanks so much.
By the way, since topic is Snarks, we actually tested with same spec server for 3 days. Ours not performance around same as before, but the new node didn't sell single Snark, which was weird. But we assume number of Snark workers increase or something like that, so it's become hard to sell them.
But so you're saying you ran both versions side by side, the old version and the new version?
Yes, with same spec servers for 3 days, and one of them never sold the Snark.
Okay.
The old one didn't sell single Snark.
Okay. So it seems like you're having issues getting Snark work included, but that is not dependent on version. It seems like it's a property of the network.
Yeah, looks like that.
Okay.
The
And
weird
Chair
part,
Washburn
only weird part
has
is
a question in the chat there too. Does that answer your question also, Chair Washburn?
it wasn't purchased.
Thanks.
Okay, the only weird part is like earlier when we sell Snarks, it was like because there was a one block with 128 Snarks, we sell like 3, 5, 10, whatever the Snark limit at that time.
Yeah.
Probably because of a lot of Snark workers right now, we for some reason are only getting 1 or 2 blocks and we barely get in, and other Snark workers like getting 20, 13. Like earlier like us.
Mhm.
But it's not happening to us at the moment.
Hmm.
Outside that, I don't see any difference, so I believe that's just state of the network and number of Snark worker increase. Just make it hard for the Snarks to purchase by nodes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll continue to keep an eye on it and investigate it and see sort of whether or not there's a good network wide approach that we can take to eventually improve this. But to be honest, it's good news that there's not any clear difference between what sort of daemon version you're running, so that I hope that there are no good reasons to run an old version anymore. I really hope we're moving into a world where we can be 1.3.0 or higher everywhere, and everyone's services are running accordingly.
I hope that too.
Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts?
All right, everybody. Well, if there's anything that you would like to talk about now, please mention it, and otherwise we can finish up the call a bit early today. All right, well, thank you so much for coming today. I'd like to thank our ecosystem partner, O1 Labs, Andrew, Prithvi, Nathan, and especially Regina for taking the notes. Thanks for that. And thanks a lot for everyone coming. For people watching the recording, you'll be able to discuss these issues in the channel mainnet block producers or the DevNet channel. If you have any feedback, that would be a great place to put it. And thanks a lot, everyone, for coming. You guys have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. Bye.
See you later.
Thanks.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.